Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Raghuveer. In this class, we will discuss about NumPy module array concepts. In our previous classes, we clearly discussed about what's module and how to import the modules, how to install the modules. All those things were clearly discussed. Please follow our playlist from the beginning so that you will have a better understanding of the complete Python language. The link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Coming to today's class, so the concept of arrays is familiar with C and other languages, but here in Python we don't have the concept of arrays in Python. This is specially given in a separate module called NumPy. Using this module we can create the concept of arrays. If you are familiar with the concept of arrays, the same arrays concept is implemented here. How the memory is allocated, all the things are same in the other languages which we discussed in C language and Java language. If you don't know about arrays concept, we will discuss it completely, how the memory is allocated and how the arrays will be, how to access the elements and all those things, what's the benefits of arrays when compared with the list. All those things will be discussed here. Let's try to understand what's the concept of arrays means. Array is a grid of homogeneous elements. Array is a grid of homogeneous elements. We have to understand this. This point is very important. Homogeneous means they are of same type. In our previous classes in the Python, we discussed about list. List is not of same type, no need of same type. They are heterogeneous elements, but array is a grid of homogeneous elements. If you take consider int means integer values, means only integer values should be present. If floating means only floating points value should be present. Homogeneous elements, and it contains, this array contains information about how to access elements and how to modify elements. All this information will be present in this array. We can use that information to access the elements and modify the elements, and this arrays is given some indexing to access the elements. So the index starts from 0th position. See, the first element is in index 0, second element is in index 1. So index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 6 elements are there. What is the last index? 5. This point don't forget, this is also important to understand. Index starts from 0. These arrays we call it as one-dimensional arrays. What are two-dimensional arrays? Let's try to understand two-dimensional arrays. So two-dimensional arrays will have rows and columns. These are called, we call it as rows, and the indexing starts from 0, 1. How many rows are there? 2 rows are there. The index starts from 0 and 1. How many columns are there? 3 columns are there. Index starts from 0, 1, 2. If you want to access the elements in a two-dimensional array, 0th row, 0th column element should be popped out. Means we have to access this element. So which element will get? 1 will be come out. So 0th row, 0th column, 0th row, first column, 0th row, second column, first row, first 0th element, 0th column, first row, first column, first row, second column. This is how we will access the elements. But here it is shown in this format. Usually in the system, in random access memory, this is not the way they are stored in the random access memory. How the elements are stored in the random access memory, that concept we will discuss in our next class, coming classes. But arrays are stored in a continuous memory location. And one more important point we have to understand, array elements are stored in a continuous memory allocation. Memory allocated continuous. So continuous memory allocation. Whenever we discuss how memory is allocated to list elements are not allocated in a continuous manner. So that is the difference between arrays and list. So there is an advantage with this continuous memory allocation. We can easily access the elements. All these advantages when compared to list will be discussed in our next classes. So for now we will give the introduction. In this class we will understand how to define the arrays, how to access the elements, the syntax for that. All those things will be discussed in this class. In our next class we will discuss about the memory, how the memory is allocated to arrays. Then we will discuss about the different methods that are present in the arrays and the advantages of these arrays. So this is what we call it as two-dimensional array. We are having rows and columns. Coming to three-dimensional arrays, how the three-dimensional arrays will be. So the three-dimensional arrays will be this array, we call it as a one two-dimensional array. We are having rows and we are having columns. This blue numbering is given as indexing: 0th row, 0th column element, 0th row first column element, 0th row second column element, first row, like this. If you have more than one two-dimensional arrays, this is one two-dimensional array, this is second two-dimensional array, then this we call it as three-dimensional array. See here, rows and columns are there. Extra, how many types of, how many we are having two-dimensional arrays that are placed. If you combine it, like this is one two-dimensional array, after that we are having another two-dimensional array, after that we are having another two-dimensional array. So this we are given as numbering as 0th two-dimensional array, first two-dimensional array. This is how the indexing is giving. Okay, you understand? If you want to implement four-dimensional arrays, more than one three-dimensional array, if you are having more than one three-dimensional arrays, then we call it as four-dimensional arrays. This is how the indexing is given. If you want to access an element 1 from this, it is in the first two-dimensional array. First two-dimensional array index is given as 0. 0th means third dimension is 0. Third dimension index value is 0. And in that we are having 0th row, 0th column. So total, what is the value we are giving? 0, 0, 0. The first one is considered as third dimension, the second one is row and column. That is how we will access the elements. Now coming to the practical part, how to implement the arrays, how we can access the elements. Let's check the syntaxes also. Import numpy as np. So importing the package numpy, it's not package. In other languages we call it as package, here we will call it as module. We are importing the module numpy as and we are giving a shortcut as np. Usually everyone gives the same shortcut np, that's why we are following the same terminology. So import numpy as np. In this module, as we discussed in our previous classes, module, we can define any number of functions, we can define any number of classes in that module, we can convert that module into .py and we can import that module. We did the coding for how to import that to our own modules. We defined a module and we are importing that module and we are using the classes that are present in that module. All these were practically done previously. Like that, the inbuilt module, numpy module is there. We have to import that module and we are making it a shortcut as np, and from that numpy module we are having a function called array. We use this function to create arrays. So what's this array function is, what's the syntax, what's the parameters that will take, all these things will be clearly documented and the documentation is provided in the internet. Just type a numpy array, the clear documentation, Python documentation will be provided. So discussing all the concepts that are present in the module is difficult. So the mostly used concepts will be discussed, and remaining, whenever we need the remaining concepts, we have to search for the documentation and we have to understand that and we have to use that. That is how we have to improve the coding part of Python. That is how we have to check the documentation, we have to use that. So numpy.array, this is what the syntax for array. In this we are having variables. Object is a variable. So object is a variable. The first variable is taking it as object. Which objects we have to provide, that is provided here. The description about this variable is provided. D type is a variable. D type means we have to mention the type of variables that has to be accepted in the array. So object, which objects can be taken? Any objects can be taken that can be converted into arrays. Those objects can be accepted. Means list. If you take list object, list can be converted into an array. Set object, we can convert that into arrays. Anything that is possible to convert into array type will be accepted. So first thing is object, and the next variable is d type is equal to by default. These are the default variables. So by default it is none. You can make it as a float, you can make it as int, string, everything we can convert. We can change this d type variable name. So this is how we check the documentation, and this numpy.array object is returning. See here. See, it returns an n-dimensional array object. So it is returning an n-dimensional array object. Whenever we call the numpy.array class, it is returning a n-dimensional array object. So whenever we return an n-dimensional array object, the methods that are present in n-dimensional array can be used on that object. So this is how we have to learn, we have to understand, we are using the packages. These basic concepts, it is returning something, which type of object it is returning, these basic concepts were clearly discussed in our previous classes. Hoping that this is the first class we are clearly explaining what it is returning, all those things. But this is how you have to learn the packages, what it is returning, what I have to do, which class I have to check now. It is returning n-dimensional array object, means we have to check the class nd array. See here, this is the class nd array, numpy.nd array. This is the class. In the documentation it is clearly discussed as class. All the methods that are present in the class are clearly discussed below. What is that method, how, and what is the output that is given by that method, and what it will do. All the discussion was clearly made here in the documentation. We will discuss what are the most of the methods which we frequently used methods will be discussed in our coming classes. So this is the class n-dimensional array. So what's that? In that we are having shape, d type is equal to float, all those things are present. This discussion will be discussed in our next coming classes. Now let's check the document, check the coding part. So this np.array is providing an n-dimensional array object. So x is taking the reference of n-dimensional array object. X can use all the methods, all the variables that are present in the class nd array. So that's why we can use, that's how we will use this variable x. It is referencing to the nd array object. Now we are displaying it as print x. It is displaying it as 1 2 3. The array is displayed here. So how to define the two-dimensional arrays? Y is equal to np.array of, this is what we call it as two-dimensional array. We are using list within the list. This can be converted into two-dimensional arrays. This is how it is displaying 1 2 3 4 5 6. Print y means how to define the three-dimensional arrays. Z is equal to np.array of list within the list within the list. That is what we call it as three-dimensional arrays. This is one list. See here, this is one list. In that we are having two-dimensional arrays. So these two-dimensional arrays is converted into array, three-dimensional array. This is how it is shown. This is one two-dimensional array. This is the second two-dimensional array. This index is 0th third dimension. In that we are having 0th row, first 0th column. That is how we can access the individual elements. If you want to check the shape of the array that is defined, so print z.shape. The first one is a third dimension. The second one is row dimension, column dimension. See, in this we are having how many three-dimension values? 0 and 1. This is one two-dimensional array. This is another two-dimensional array. So how many we are having? 2. That is what it is giving here, 2. The next one is, next to 2 is giving it as how many rows we are having? 2 rows. How many columns we are having? 3 columns. That's why it is giving it as 3 columns. So this is how it will give the shape of the array. And now coming to the d type. What is d type means? We can mention the type of the variables that can be accessed in the array. So the d type is given as L is equal to np.array of, the object is given, and the next variable is d type is equal to float. We are taking it as floating point variables. If you give it as int, it will take only integer values. If you don't give anything, if you don't mention the d type value, default is none. What happens when you take it as none? That we will discuss in our next example, coming example. So that's why when you display the L value, what's the output we got here? All the things are we got it in the floating point. So then the next one, if not mentioned any type, we did not mention the D type value. So D type default value is none. None means what happens, which type is considered. Let's take an example. np.array of 1 2 3 4 5 hello. We are having a string here, we are having an integer here. So by default it will take which type? So minimum requirement to save this data is a string type. So that's why by default it will take the string data type. All the elements in this are considered in the string data type. If you display print m of 0 0 means this one will be displayed in string data type. Let's check it why it is taking it. So is it taking it in string data type or int data type? So why it is taking only string data type? Array elements are in a homogeneous elements, means it will take only one type values, different type of values will not be considered here. By default in this example it is taking the string type. Why it is taking the string type? In order to hold this array elements it just need string type. That is the type. If string type is not considered, these elements are not saved, because hello is not it cannot take it into the input hello as without string type. That is why it is by default, means minimum type required to hold this data. That type will be considered automatically. Python will check the elements and it will consider the minimum type. So see here, that's why we are doing m of 0 0 plus m of 0 1 means 0th position, 0th row first 0th column element plus 0th row first column element. What's the elements here? 1 plus 2 means we have to get it as 3 value, but here these are considered as strings. That's why we got 12. String concatenation, plus means string concatenation. And coming to the next one, three-dimensional array elements accessing. How to access the elements in the three-dimensional arrays? 0 0 1, the example was already discussed. 0 0 1 means 0th second dimensional array. In that 0th row first column means this 2 will be considered. That's why it is displaying it as 2.0. By default we considered it here it as a D type is equal to float. That's why it is taking it in a floating point value. Next one is we can, in order to define an array, we are using a function called array function. Not only that, we can use other functions also. What's those functions here is np.zerosof. np.zerosof. You check the documentation of what this function is. Zerosof. Zerosof will take the shape of the array. What type of shape you needed? 2 rows, 3 columns. That is the shape. Shape is given in the set object. 2 comma 3 means it is taking it as, first one is taken as rows and the 3 means it is taking it as columns. That's why print m, it will display 2 rows and 3 columns. Default values are taken it as zeros. That's what we use this method, zerosof. Next method is np.onesof. Onesof also take the shape 2 comma 3 and the default values that are present in the onesof means 1 1 1 1 1 1. And the next method which we use to create an array is np.emptyof. Don't take any values. That is what the meaning of empty of. 2 comma 4, 2 rows, 4 columns, but here it is displaying, whenever we display the e value, it is displaying the garbage values. So whatever the values that are present in that memory space, that default it will be displayed, that we considered it as garbage values. Okay, so this is how we will define arrays and how to access the elements in the arrays. Hope you understand the concept. Next class we discuss about how memory is allocated to arrays, and then we go for the different methods that are present on this array objects and how to use that methods. Hope you understand the concept. If you have any questions regarding the concept, please post your questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.